my manager was like, oh, you're going to go to Hawaii and hang out and talk music with Mick Fleetwood. I still haven't really wrapped my head around it yet. It's nice to be able to learn from these people that, came before you. And so, they laid the groundwork for, people like me and bands that I'm friends with that really still care about rock and roll to continue to do it now. No one in my family plays music, and my mom's little brother, he passed away when he was 13, and he was learning how to play the guitar. So when I was like 12 or 13, I found his guitar in our attic. For a while, I was like, don't touch that. It was Dominic's. So my mom, she got a job that year, and so I was, latchkey. And just went up in the attic every day and taught myself how to play Grateful Dead songs, actually. And then I came downstairs when my grandmother was home, and I brought it down. I played it for her, and she was like, "We're gonna get you lessons. You're great. You need to do this." The whole British blues thing, how did that all start? Like, who came over and did a gig and everybody went nuts and started?
Before anyone really came over, what happened, it was all about collectibles. I remember traveling with Peter to someone's house that you were told about had,
Records.
a Sleepy John Estes record or whatever.
So it was like an underground thing.
Oh,
though,
totally.
Okay.
And there were a few people in London that actually started little underground shops because it was boutique-y at best, and they would come out like a fine piece of art, as if it had been stolen from some museum, and sort of look around and go like, "You want to hear it?" And it was a big deal. And bingo, you've suddenly got white English guys totally bewitched with blues. And I was a sucker for it, totally. So blues was like a perfect place for me to be. Just, how can I please you? How can I, with very little, express myself? Which is what was so fascinating about all the early blues artists, that they did so much with expression with really very little. So Fleetwood Mac was absolutely a blues-based band. That's all we did. We played it. We had a top 10 album out of nowhere. The first album was all Elmore James stuff. They'd never heard. They just assumed.
They thought you wrote it.
What? No, they thought we wrote it. It's a new sound,
Yeah.
and we were just doing our best to play Elmore James. We actually did it. Jeremy, ostensibly, was in charge of all that. And Peter gave him total freedom to do that, because he was the leader of our band.
That's
and
funny because
so.
Now a band like mine is, what we try to do is do our little bit of trying to impersonate the Peter Green version of Fleetwood Mac.
Well, good on you.
Rolling. Yeah, we got sound speed, Lynn.
At first it was, Mama Cass was the first female singer I really loved. And then Nina Simone, and then when I heard Stevie Nicks and she had such a tight vibrato, it made me feel not weird, because everybody was like, "You sing like a goat," and I'd just be like, "Shut up,"
Cool.
And then I heard her, and I was just like, well, she's a rock and roller, I can do this.
Yeah, we were talking about vibrato and Stevie's voice.
Yeah.
What was not long after Stevie joined Fleetwood Mac, I no doubt was captivated by her voice. I gave Stevie a big box set of Edith Piaf. She had this little sparrow vibrato thing, and I said, "This is you."
And it probably made her feel normal.
This is the
fit
power.
In somewhere.
Yeah.
Because when I put out my first record, and all these people kept coming up and being like, "You're like Edith Piaf," and I was just like, "Who is Edith Piaf?" And this was only 4 years ago. 4 or 5, no, it was 5 years ago.
So we have just hit on another.
Yeah, for real.
Now I know we needed to have met. We have.
But I heard that, I was just like, oh, and I have this song called Brooklyn's on Fire, and this one part is like, la-da-da, la-da-da, da-da, 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 and I just, it's just, I did it because it seemed like the right thing to do, but I never heard Edith Piaf before, and then hearing that, I was just like, Jesus.
There you
okay,
go.
I get it.
How wild.
always wanted to know, like, you know, when they were making Rumors, like did you have any premonition or feeling like, holy crap, like we're making a record that's going to be the biggest record ever?
Everyone in the band, as you know, it's common knowledge, was totally emotionally messed up. John and Chris, Stevie and Lindsay, myself and Jenny, my then wife.
Yeah.
I was like Piggy in the middle, and I got maybe 3 or 4 calls from Warner Brothers basically saying, when's the band breaking up?
Really?
Because they couldn't believe that we could do this.
In that much
Right.
emotional turmoil.
Right.
Yeah, like
And then
breakup in the band.
No, it was catastrophic. It was catastrophic, which became Rumors. And all I can say is that did we know what that was going to be? No.
Because you were distracted with your personal life.
We were for sure distracted. And what was actually what got us through that? The music.
My record is Mondo Amore. You know, I wrote it in a time when I was breaking up with my boyfriend, my label, and my band all within one summer.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, and it was just me,
Like a
and I
vortex.
had nobody to really lean on, you know, and it was the songs were the only thing that like kept me from like, you know, completely disappearing.
Beautiful.
You were telling me that you did a lot of the early Fleetwood Mac tours in a station wagon. Like, tell me about your, you know, when you guys first started going on the road.
I mean, we used to play with the Grateful Dead, and then one of the gigs we did was down in New Orleans, and at the Warehouse, and the whole audience was on acid, which is debatable, believe me, when you look back on it. I'm glad I didn't have the responsibility of doing it, but
So you weren't playing on acid?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you were?
Oh, with the Grateful Dead, you don't not do that. That night, we were supposed to go back to the hotel after the gig. The night when it busted down in New Orleans, that song, I can't
Set
sing.
up like a bowling pin?
Yeah, right. That song came out of the night. They invited us back to the hotel, and we left later. They'd gone. Thank God we lost our way. Because that night, Owsley and the Grateful Dead were busted.
Oh, wow.
And if we'd have been in that hotel, you'd have never heard of Fleetwood Mac again.
Wow.
We would have been flung out of the United
You
States,
wouldn't have been able to come
gone.
The last show that I did with The Sea, we did Oh Well, and we had all of our friends' bands on stage doing the and everybody, you know, not many people know that song, and a wide scope of like Brooklyn indie rock kids, you know, but once we started playing it, everybody just had this feeling of something's gonna happen right now.
When that song came out and it was a hit in England, and that da 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 on the cowbell, right?
Yeah.
Well, they react to it. What they don't know, that I'm sitting there having played the song for way over 40 years or whatever it is.
But it still feels fresh though.
Well, it feels fresh. Plus, I'm completely petrified of doing it because I'm going to screw it up, right? Because you know it's all about playing live, and we're a blues band, and we're on this pop show playing Oh Well, and I was about to go. I'm going to completely be shown up for being a total phony. That we're not playing, of course.
Because you can't lip sync.
I can't, yeah, whatever it's called. Yeah, I can't. So that song is like forever like, okay, let's do it. You know, da 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 da. It's a really healthy thing to rejoice in something that you've been really, really, really lucky to do. You know, and you have all of that ahead, which is to be celebrated.
So we're cool?
Count me in.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.